Listen, there was some speculation to that about Jay, being involved with drugs. There was definitely that came up. And possibly somebody in the Midwest, yes, definitely came up.
Any idea who Uncle is?
Uncle was a guy who was probably a guy from the Midwest who they had ties to with drugs.
But never an actual name or a face?
Well, they probably have a name. Well, I don't know if they have a name. The feds have a name now to who he is or what he did. But, there was definitely a investigation as to his name and to who he was.
Right.
They said he had ties. They said, I think somebody had ties to BMF.
Right, there's an
the Black
article
Mafia family.
Right, there's an article that came out that says there's a witness. I don't know how credible they are. This could be just a talk, or it could be, real. But what are the chances that JMJ was dealing with a BFF member?
I mean, anything is possible back then. I don't know on my end for that to be true or not, that he was involved with BMF. I'm sure something when he came out back then, but I don't, the case took a different direction as it went on. I retired and the other detectives took it over. So there was definitely a drug component. As far as, this BMF angle, I'm not sure about that. I heard about it. I heard people talk about it, but anything is possible.
But it's not something that you came across to you? And
not in the beginning, but it could be out here later on, because remember...
It could just be rumor.
Right. Well, these other detectives took the case over, and they were able to arrest, Ronald Tennard Washington and Little D.
So you were never even, I guess, couldn't put a face to Uncle, like even a...
Back then, no. But I'm pretty sure right now, with everything going on, they have that.
The feds?
Yeah, we had some ideas of possibly who it would be, but I'm pretty sure the feds put it together about who's who when it came to that.
Right.
Because there were multiple reports about his connections in the Midwest with drugs, or drug dealers, and things like that. So that definitely came out.
He was, and I believe there was already an investigation going on JMJ.
That probably was so, because of these guys and their drug angles. Remember, when these guys get involved with drugs and you travel from one state to another, now it goes back to what I was telling you before about interstate commerce. When they go back and they move things and do things or purchase things and things like that, they're moving from one state to another. So that's definitely federal jurisdiction. Because if you're going to a state, like in New York State, you're in New York State. But if you travel from New York to New Jersey, now you're in another state. Committing a crime or committing an act that falls under the RICO or the CCE, or even like you saw Pusheisty, one of the Hobbs Acts,
right.
For firearms.
Now, I know this is going to go to trial, and I believe you're going to be involved in some type of way. That's going to happen. What can you tell me? What's going to happen? How long?
They're probably, the case is death penalty consideration on the case, so they're going to go to trial, no doubt, and they're going to try to prove that they're innocent. And then the government's going to throw everybody at them they can to prove that they're guilty.
I hear they might offer immunity to any witnesses.
Well, they may, and then they may tell these guys may take a plea. Because there might be so much stacked against them where their lawyers might say, hey, look, maybe we go in front of the magistrate judge and we'll ask for a different sentence and keep it from there. Because they're eligible for the death penalty.
Right.
Under federal guidelines.
Let me ask you this. There's a subscriber that wanted me to ask you.
Let me read it. Can you ask him how Tennard was able to make a deal with the Queens DA in 2003 for those robberies? Well, that was easily. When he implicated Big D and Little D, and calls Curtis Schoon and some of Tennard's former inmates, who on Twitter has said he's supposed to get life, but he made a deal for 17 years. Yeah, I could see the DA's office doing that with him, making a deal with him, because he probably committed multiple robberies, which they said. And when you see how they said he implicated Big D and Little D, and made a deal for 17 years in court papers that he confessed to shooting and robbing hella people. And a journalist who did a piece on him in 2003 said the Queens DA told him he was supposed to be released into witness protection and then suddenly got arrested. And many point to his deal being related to a possible RICO case. Well, if you remember with Tennard, there was all the thing with Stretch, where his girlfriend testified in his case, where she gave up the murder of Stretch, which was one of Tupac's guys.
Right.
And they implicated Tenard in that. So there was a lot that Tenard was involved with.
Right.
There was no way he was going to get out or walk with all the stuff that all the crimes that he committed. So,
exactly.
you know, they definitely kept him in jail.
Right. Now there's a